Suddenly, he burst into the cat foster room, and as soon as he entered, the cats went totally haywire, bouncing around like they just had a red. Seeing the cats getting more agitated, Scott had to make a tactical retreat. Just then, a girl started banging on the pet store door like a bouncer at a club. That was his classmate Allison. She accidentally hit the puppy while driving and rushed over anxiously. Scott comforted her while secretly checking the puppy, but it barked loudly, as if auditioning for a woofing contest. Just a quick glance from Scott turned the balky little pup from angry to as calm as a meditating monk, and they whisked him off for treatment. After this mini drama, their relationship got a boost. As Allison was leaving, Scott mustered up his courage and proposed a date like he was selling a tube. So, think y'all'd want to hit up those parties with me? Allison grinned, as if she heard the best joke ever. So, is that a yes? You're in? Absolutely. Right, and early the next day, Scott showed up at school, ready for baseball tryouts. The coach kicked off with an inspiring Les-win-this speech. The team was pumped up like a bunch of balloons, but as soon as the game started, Scott was immediately attacked by a teammate trying every trick to snag a score. Containing his inner rage, skillfully launched his counter-attack with a series of dazzling moves that captured the attention and applause of everyone in the stands. The coach pulled him aside, declaring him the starting player, and the whole campus erupted in cheers. Tyrell looked worried and rushed home to Google werewolves, realizing Scott's condition mirrored the legends. So Tyrell hurriedly dragged Scott over, playing the role of a mad scientist revealing his findings. But Scott was too busy daydreaming about his date with Allison to care about Tyrell's werewolf tales. Tyrell reminded Scott at this moment that tonight was indeed the night of the full moon, and according to the legend, werewolves transform into their wolfish forms precisely at this time, as if urging him, hurry up and go on that date, then make a swift escape. Suddenly, Scott felt a wild craving rising up, wanting to avoid hurting Allison, like a card player trying to resist drawing the wrong card. He squeezed out all the suppressed feelings, desperately trying to keep himself in check. Tugging at his overwhelming emotions, he stepped outside, determined to be in control tonight. As the full moon rose, people around him blurred into a mess, leaving him clinging to the last bits of self-awareness. Scott drove off from the party, feeling like the star of a werewolf attack movie, with someone claiming to be his friend tailing him. Back home, Scott sprinted to the bathroom, dousing himself with cold water to snap back to reality, but a mysterious force struck like a meteor, leading to his transformation. His nails grew like in a tug-of-war, his mouth sharpened, eyes turned Super Saiyan just as a knock interrupted his transformation. It was Tyrell knocking, concerned about Scott's transformation, but Scott didn't want him coming in. Right now, all Scott cared about was Allison's safety, and while he was preparing to flee, he had already known in his heart who had bitten him. He found Derek from the party and realized Allison was in Derek's car. Scott jumped out the window like a ninja in the night, and once he was fully bathed in moonlight, the werewolf blood surged through his senses. His nose was so sharp he could smell Derek's car from miles away. He bolted through the dark woods, using his werewolf night vision to spot Allison's coat from the party. Just as he was scanning, a shadow lunged at him, pinning him down. It was Derek in his wolf form. Derek cast a glance around him, panic-stricken, shouting at Scott, "We absolutely need to get out of here fast." Just then, a flash of steel pinned his arm to a tree in his crimson vision. 3 hunters emerged from behind the trees, and the lead guy ordered Scott to be captured, just like in a classic movie. In a nick of time, Derek swooped in like Superman, quickly knocking down the 2 henchmen. Seizing the distraction, Derek snatched Scott and made a break for it. They sprinted through the woods, losing the hunters. Then Derek revealed they were werewolf hunters. For centuries, those hunters had been after them, and Scott felt rage boiling over at this news. "Are you suggesting that this is all because of you, causing me even more pain?" "Ouch. I don't want to be bloodthirsty. Y'all need me if you want to control it. So Scott, we're brothers." Early the next day, Scott found Allison, nerves jangling as he apologized for his sudden exit last night. Although Allison was furious, she grudgingly forgave him in recognition of his sincere apology. Just then, Allison's dad arrived, making Scott swear he was the hunter leader who chased him last night. Shock hit Scott like a ton of bricks. He never imagined his dream girl would have a dad who's a total badass hunter. The next second, His body began to undergo metamorphosis, and in a state of urgency, Tyrell had to rush him into the locker room. Transformed, Scott had lost all reason and treated Tyrell like a potential snack, chasing him all around. At a critical moment, Tyrell grabbed the fire extinguisher and blasted it as Scott lunged. The white powder quickly calmed Scott down, yet he had no memory of what just happened. After this ordeal, Tyrell confirmed anger as a catalyst. Scott could turn into a werewolf when his pulse raced. But sports itself was a violent affair, so Tyrell wanted Scott to bail on Saturday's game to ensure no one got hurt. That night, while video chatting, Derek surprised Scott like an ice cream truck.